Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Mark from Zola Games, and today we're going to talk about the continued collapse of Commander Master. So, if you have not noticed, it looks like Commander Master is still falling in price. People are losing lots of interest. Stores are holding heavy bags of Commander Masters at like $300 something dollars. Of course, other stores are fire selling it. We're getting like these crazy discounts from Amazon at below distribution prices, basically pushing stores even further down. So at this point, I mean, it's pretty obvious Commander Master was definitely charged too high, and nobody wants to pay that kind of price for the cards, right? This is pretty consistent across the board. It's the set boosters, but also the collector's boosters, and of course the draft as well. So there are a lot of theories out there as to why this is happening, right? There's the first theory, which is Lord of the Rings, how it's a great set. It continues to sell very well. So that is draining the wallet of the people who would normally buy Commander Masters. They don't have enough money to go buy that one. So the sales are not doing too well, right? Of course, Lord of the Rings being also a very expensive set, meaning that players had to spend more money on that set, which means less money for Commander Masters. That is somewhat reasonable, but I don't think it's actually the real reason. Other people talk about just like in general, like revolting against with the Wizard of the Coast. While there are definitely good like reprints in Commander Masters, the set is really large. There are a bunch of bulk rares, so a lot of players don't want to put a bunch of money into a set that basically costs like $20, $25 a booster pack for just the normal stuff, right? And potentially get a bunch of bulk rares that are worth like a couple cents. So I also understand that perspective, and while that may kind of be true, I don't personally think that's the real reason for why the set is flopping. I think the real reason why the set is flopping is actually a lot simpler than most people think it is. The reason is simply because Wizard of the Coast continues to print these things to oblivion. So this has happened with Double Masters 2022. You notice Double Masters 2020, the first Double Masters, right? How right off the bat the boxes were $350, and then pretty quickly, within about 6 months or so, they went to $400, $450, $500, and continued going up. Why? Number one, Double Masters didn't have a collector's booster, no set booster, no this and that other product line. There was only one thing you could buy, and that was it. Number two, the cards were good, but that's still true here too, right? So, while Double Masters also had bulk rares, it did have great cards, so there's that. But number three, there was not that much printed. So aside from the fact that it didn't have different product lines, it also just had less supply overall. In general, stores had a lot more confidence in the past for the master sets because they were a one print run set, meaning Wizard of the Coast promised we'll print one time and then we'll be done with it. So of course stores would buy a lot, suck up all the inventory, and then there would be no more left, and they could slowly sell these kind of things out. Of course, with Double Masters 2022, that was not true because Amazon had plenty of Double Masters 2022 to sell. And with Double Masters 2022, right, you started having other product lines. For example, the collector's boosters was available for Double Masters 2022. No set boosters, the draft boosters, and the collector's boosters. Of course, now we come to Commander Masters this year, and you'll notice now we went from two product lines, which is the collector's boosters and the set boosters or the draft boosters, to three product lines, right? Actually, let me correct myself. The original Double Masters did have a secondary product line, which is the VIP edition, which is essentially the collector's booster. So I was wrong. There was a separate version. However, overall, the supply was kept low. Okay, moving forward to Commander Masters. Now there's a set booster, there's a draft booster, there's also a collector's booster. And of course, with three product lines, there's just more product for people to go buy. In addition to that, though, there's also obvious signs of more supply. As an example, Amazon was able to quickly do a sale pretty quickly after the set release, not even a month in, on Amazon for a price that would equate to something like a loss if stores were to sell this on any sort of platform because they have to pay. I think most stores were paying like $305, $310-ish from distribution. And of course, if they list it for $325 on any website and have to ship it and pay platform fees, they will be taking a huge loss. Why does Amazon sell for this price? Well, because they have large supply that's coming directly from Wizard of the Coast. There is no third-party distribution that they have to go through. So their selling costs are a lot lower. And of course, that means they can actually take in revenue selling at a price like this. The issue, of course, with this is you're edging out other LGSs. You're edging out the people who are basically supporting this game because you're showing your hand, and this is a comment to Wizard of the Coast, you're showing your hand that you don't care about stores. You don't care about LGSs. You don't care about their plight and them trusting you, putting money in front ahead of any previews, understanding what's going to be in the set, right? So that's really annoying. But I think the true reason why this set is flopping is because of the endless supply. Now, I know it says Master Set on it. I know it's Commander. I know there's supposed to be a hype thing. But I think Wizard of the Coast definitely overestimated how many people would actually buy the set, how the set would sell overall. And because it didn't sell so hot and there's oversupply, that's essentially what's happening now. As you can see, this happened with Double Masters 2022. We are still not recovered from that set, right? We're over a year into Double Masters 2022, and you can see that set is still doing not so hot. Why? It's not because the set's bad. I mean, it had good cards on the draft experience. I'm sure it's great, right? The issue, of course, is just simply this set, Double Masters 2022, was overprinted. And now with Commander Masters, it is also another overprinted set. So if you don't believe me, if you don't think this is the way it is, you think it's actually really short printed or whatever, then I think you're living under a rock, right? A lot of people are going to blame any external factor, but realistically, the only reason is this. Wizard of the Coast has probably realized that they have peaked their player base, meaning like they're not going to get any more players, which is why they're doing all this Universes Beyond stuff to draw in new players that are not Magic players, right? And then with this draw in, they're able to kind of cash out on more players, selling even one extra boxes to 1,000 new players, right? That means 1,000 new booster boxes get sold, even if they only buy one each. Whereas in franchise players like us might be buying cases or 3 or 4 boxes, whatever. So there's that. But unfortunately, this is flopping because I don't think we're actually getting a ton of new players coming into Magic. And the old players who are playing Magic are sick and tired of these product price increases, of more and more products in the year that both, Wizard of the Coast says, I want you to engage with the product you like, but also engage with everything because we're trying to maximize our profits, right? So overall, it's kind of a conundrum that they've gotten themselves into where they continue to raise prices, but also increase print runs. So of course, the only thing that's going to happen when you have high supply is that, when demand cannot, basically, you satiate demand, or the demand's really, really low, you have to lower the price to be able to sell anything. So that's the situation that Wizards is facing right now. And that's why actually, in my opinion, Commander Masters is in the position it is right now with pricing. I think there's just too much. And given that fact, if you believe me that there's too much product, even long term, it could be a much more riskier investment simply because it may take a lot longer to recover. Do I think the sealed boxes are going to do fine long term, let's say 10, 20 years? Absolutely. I don't have any doubt that in 20 years, people will buy Commander Masters for a higher price than what they're paying for today. Especially if these numbers continue to decrease. Again, that risk reward really starts teeter-tottering, right? Where you get to a point where, let's say Commander Master set boosters are selling for $140 a box. Now that's a price where I can say that seems like a very low risk investment. I'm okay with jumping into that because I think it's going to go higher than that, right? It won't go that low, I don't think. So that's what I think. But in the short term, given the supply, it's going to take a lot longer for this set to recover. And I think, I don't know how many more sets Wizard of the Coast has to do this until they figure this out, but this amount of supply that they're printing into the market will not work long term. And they have to adjust. So there's that. Mark, Solo Games, I'm out. Stay classy.